Happy 1st July, everyone. This is Watchables, and my name is Kane. Pride Month was rather tough, wasn't it? After 2 years of pandemic, all the assholes came out of hiding and now want to tell us how to live our own lives. Assholes in powers are the worst assholes. Which kind of brings me to my latest watch, Ben-Hur, which is still a part of last month's list I put together on Letterboxd. I will be adding a link to that list in the description below. The assholes in power of this particular story are the Romans, who have taken control of Judea, where a small portion of people is fighting back. A former native of the land, Messala, who is now a devoted Roman, is sent to end any resistance. He wants to recruit the help of his childhood friend, Judah Ben-Hur, a Jewish prince and merchant, to find the rebels, but Ben-Hur refuses to sell out his countrymen. An accident involving the new governor of Judea gives Messala the chance to punish Ben-Hur for his betrayal. He is condemned to the galleys, his mother and sister are sent to prison. Ben-Hur vows vengeance on Messala. This vow gives him strength to survive the next few years in the galleys. During a fight with Macedonian ships, Ben-Hur saves a Roman consul's life. He is made a charioteer by the grateful consul and is later even adopted by him. This gives Ben-Hur his freedom back, and he returns to Jerusalem for his mother and sister. He is told that they have died in prison, and he renews his vow of vengeance against Messala. His chance is a chariot race, which he wins, of course. Messala dies of his severe injuries from the race only after he tells Ben-Hur that his mother and sister are alive, but live in the valley of the lepers outside the city. He finds them, and Esther, Ben-Hur's love interest, insists on bringing them to a prophet, but that man is sentenced to death by Pontius Pilate as they reach the city. As he dies on the cross, this prophet asks his heavenly Father to redeem mankind, and as all sins are taken from them, Ben-Hur's mother and sister are also healed of their leprosy. Ben-Hur from 1959, directed by William Wyler, stars Carlton Heston as Ben-Hur, Stephen Boyd as Messala, and Haya Hararit as Esther, among many, many others. The movie is over 3.5 hours long and won 11 Oscars. It's based on the novel Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ by Lew Wallace. It weaves the story of the prophet Jesus of Nazareth into the story of Judah Ben-Hur, a Jewish merchant whose thirst for revenge is here showcased as a sin that will be forgiven in the end. I'm not great with religious stories, to be honest. I wasn't really aware that this movie linked to the biblical story of Jesus. It was interesting, though, to see a different side of it, a more political side that was personalized through the eyes of Judah Ben-Hur. William Wyler is one of my favorite directors of that time, and he did a great job with it. Even while the movie is very long, the story is tight, it's interesting, it moves forward at a compelling pace. And he never shows Jesus' face, which is a very interesting choice. We only see him from behind or with his face obscured. But he isn't in much of the film. It's strange to me that I don't remember ever watching Ben-Hur, considering that we used to watch these epic kind of movies a lot at home. I remember watching Quo Vadis and Spartacus, but not Ben-Hur. You may wonder now why this movie made it onto my Pride Month list. The relationship between Ben-Hur and Messala seems to have been very intense when they were growing up. Of course, it's not said that they had a relationship, but according to Gore Vidal, who was among several writers hired for rewrites, he, Wyler, and Stephen Boyd had an understanding that they were. Boyd actually played the role like Messala's been in love with Ben-Hur, because they all felt that Ben-Hur refusing to help Messala wouldn't be enough to make his actions believable. Vidal also said that Heston wasn't informed of this because they all felt he wouldn't like it. It gives this movie another dimension, and I think it explains a lot about how there are so many movies of the 50s that have a gay subtext. Awareness was growing, and I think gay creators were pushing boundaries during the time because of conservative resistance in the form of McCarthyism, for example. Stephen Boyd did a great job at conveying the underlying love his character had for Judah and his rage at his betrayal, the way he feels rejected. Mind, it doesn't make the movie great, it's just part of what makes it even greater. I wouldn't have thought that I would like this movie so much, because it is a mammoth. 3 hours, 40 minutes, it's really long, but it didn't feel that long. And I would recommend a watch for anyone who hasn't watched it. It's part of Hollywood history and it's great, even if you, like me, are not a fan of biblical stories. I hope you like this video. It's a little longer than my previous one, since the movie is much longer too. If you like content like this, you can subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Tell me anything you want to say about this movie in the comments. I always like a good discussion about movies, obviously. Ben-Hur by William Wyler is very watchable.